So I am a young millennial, and for my generation, we were really sold this boss babe life. Put your career first, don't get married, don't have kids, don't even think about that until your mid to late 30s, don't worry about it, your career is what is going to fulfill you. And we really bought into that lie. And so many millennials, and some older than me, they did do that, and then everyone realized, oh wait, now I have the big promotion, I am making a lot of money, women are by the way, the left doesn't want to talk about this, but women are out earning men, I mean, to and from, that this wage gap thing is such BS, but they have all of that, but they still feel like they're missing something. And the truth is that we were made for more. We were made to pour into a family and a husband and have children, and that is what is going to fulfill you at the end of the day. Like your career, at the very end of your life, how much money you made and everything isn't going to matter, but who's going to be at your bedside on your deathbed. And so I think a lot of millennials started to have that wake-up call, and now Gen Z is starting to have that wake-up call. And so young conservatives really are embracing this. It's called trad wife lifestyle. So traditional wife, being a stay-at-home mom and putting a focus on that. And so I think that's amazing. And that's something I think about too. I have a really serious relationship right now. We're not engaged yet, but it's something that we're talking about. And he knows that that's super important. Obviously, I feel like I'm in a place that God wants me to be with hosting this show, but I also really want to be a mother. And at the end of the day, if I had to choose to lose all of this, and if that was the only way to be a mother, I would choose that. And we'll see what ends up happening. Maybe there's a way for me to balance both a little bit, but I think a lot of girls are waking up to the fact that family really is everything and putting more of a priority back on that. And so I cannot wait to see how Gen Z really takes that back.
Here's the thing that I want to let women know. And I think this is, especially here in the West, the United States, etc. We tell women that they can have it all. They can get a career, they can make this money, they could be a boss, and then while doing all of that, they can attract a man on their caliber that's also a boss, that's going to be okay with them being a boss and them working together in some kind of partnership, as you would say. And I'm here to tell you guys,
nope,
that's not the way the world works, okay? Men that are successful, hypermasculine, competitive, etc., they're going to want a feminine, submissive woman. And the problem is that so many women want to be married, but they don't want to necessarily be wives. And the reality is this: as a wife, by default of definition of your title, you are in a support role. You are to augment that man's castle and help him with what he has going on. So if you want to be a wife, you're going to have to concede and give up certain things to help that man excel, because here's the reality. When a man's in a leadership position and thriving, you're going to thrive as a byproduct of being with him. But if a woman is in a leadership position, as you were describing earlier, where you're thriving, you don't want that guy to thrive with you. You're going to find a man that can compete with you. That's the difference between men and women. Women are incapable of leading men, typically, especially if they're of lower socioeconomic status than themselves. Men, though, are okay with that. Women don't like to share their excess resources. Men are built to do it.
A lot of times she doesn't know that she's been pretty much disqualified from being a serious girlfriend from the beginning because she has tendencies that aren't attractive to me. But the problem is that so many women think acting like a guy, chasing a career, being masculine, being dominant, being competitive, let me challenge you, all this shit is attractive. It's not. And I tell girls all the time on the podcast, all right, so you think it's attractive for you to be a boss, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it is. Okay, well, you know what? How about this? How about on Saturday nights, I wear heels and I wear a dress. Would you go out with me? Ew, no. Fantastic. That's exactly how men feel when you talk about you being a boss babe and competitive. Oh my God, no, it's not. It is the same, because a masculine woman is just like a feminine man. But here's the craziness. Women expect you, right, to be masculine, right? And they can pick and choose when they want to be feminine, and you're supposed to accept them no matter what. But if I act feminine, right, maybe on a Saturday, they would never accept me. So what men want is considered discrimination. What women want is considered standards.
The only way as a man that you can typically win in the dating game, or even typically outsmart women at their own game or some of their own seduction strategies, is by removing the connection that they all deep down desire from a masculine man. Let me explain. All of the great traits that make you you, okay? This could be your masculinity, the leadership that you provide, the care, the comfort, the element of protection, all of the things that she is seeking from a man. Instead of giving that right away, if you withhold those things and even make that other person earn them from you, what's going to happen is that she now values it and she respects it more. By you withholding that need that she deep down has for comfort and for connection, what's going to happen is you will naturally position yourself as a man who is pre-selected by other women, and she's going to sense that you have more options, and she's potentially going to even think that you are now investing that care and comfort into somebody else that isn't her, which is going to make her work for your approval even more.
In a bid to rewrite their life's playbook, modern women seem to have thrown traditional roles right out the window. This isn't about the glorious pursuit of career goals. It's about adopting a radical feminist ideology that says career over everything, even family. Remember when a woman's pride was in her home, her husband, and her children? Well, thanks to the feminist revolution of the 1960s, those days are as obsolete as typewriters. Today's women march to the beat of a different drum, one that loudly proclaims, career first, family later. But as they tick-tock through their 30s and beyond, reality hits like a ton of bricks. Fertility doesn't negotiate with career aspirations. It diminishes with age, bringing a plethora of complications that no career achievement can offset. It's like betting against the house. The odds just aren't in their favor. Meanwhile, what about the men? Contrary to popular feminist belief, most men aren't fans of the whole "I don't need a man" anthem. We're wired to be partners, not just sperm donors or glorified roommates. Men look for women who value their contributions, both as providers and as loving companions. A partnership where men are seen as adversaries or competitors? Hard pass. We're drawn to kindness, understanding, and mutual respect, not someone constantly trying to outdo us or belittle our role. The takeaway? In the rush to embody a misunderstood notion of empowerment, many women miss the boat on what truly fulfills a life: love, partnership, and family. Sure, a satisfying career is essential, but it shouldn't come at the expense of everything else that brings meaning to life. It's time to balance the scales and rethink priorities.
To all the young gentlemen just noticing the fairer sex, here's a tip. Do not date an ambitious girl. Okay? If that girl's, you meet her in college and she's talking about how she wants to do this and she wants to do that and accomplish this and accomplish that, and she wants to be the big dog CEO of some company, leave her. Immediately. Run. You will, trust me, you will save yourself a massive amount of headaches. Ambitious boss babe bitches are nothing but a fucking headache for a man. And honestly, considering they pretty much act like men, might as well just date a dude.
Do you think like what you see in the movies where if you were to strike a guy in the nuts, he would just like, fall over and he can no longer control his motor? Like,
should we test it out?
I'm pretty sure,
I'm just saying
it hurts,
that's a good
but like,
start. I'm not going to tell people how to attack men. I'm just saying if you take those classes, they teach you
how about
certain
this?
steps.
Here, let me give women better advice. Go get a firearm. That'll help you out much more in a self-defense situation against a man than taking years of BJJ.
As a young millennial myself, I would totally agree with what you just said. The lies that were kind of sold, and I don't think that they were maliciously instilled in you know the daughters. They thought it was right, and many friends, my personal friends and family members, have also started to wake up to wait. Maybe being a 45-year-old CEO, I'm still alone and I don't have a family, and it didn't fulfill me. So
Well, and you know what is so many of my friends too did the waiting and then finally decided in their mid to late 30s, okay, now I think I am ready to have a family. And then you experience a lot of times fertility issues with that, with the waiting, and you put career first and everything. And that's just a huge struggle, I think, too. And so a lot of people are waking up to the fact like, oh, I wish that I would have tried to do this sooner. And I think that's something too that's been an eye-opener for people. Plus the fact that, and I talk about this a lot on my shows, which is very controversial even with conservatives, but the fact that almost all of us were prescribed, if you're a millennial, we were all prescribed birth control, whether we were having sex or not in high school at 15 years old for no reason, just to regulate periods or acne or whatever, and then not knowing otherwise the side effects, and then being on that through our 30s, and then realizing, oh my goodness, this has impacted my fertility.
Let's face it, men are about as attracted to jaded women as they are to a porcupine, full of sharp edges and ready to inflict pain. Nobody wants a partner who's been around the block so many times that they've become resentful toward the whole male species. We're not interested in engaging in endless battles of independence versus companionship, or constantly being on the receiving end of that bitter men are trash vibe. Let's talk about the feminist ideology of recent decades. Has it ever dawned on them to pause their all-knowing crusade and ask, hey, what do men really want? Not a chance. It's like asking them to solve a Rubik's Cube with their eyes closed. They'll just stare at you blankly, wondering why you're not impressed by their latest girl boss's move. Here's a little secret. Men aren't the cryptic enigma that feminist theorists make us out to be. We're pretty straightforward. Want to know what positive masculinity is? Hint, it's not the cartoon villain they've been taught to see. It's about strength, reliability, and partnership. But go ahead, ask a feminist about positive masculinity and watch them spiral into a diatribe about toxic patriarchal structures without ever landing on a real answer. It's a comedy show in itself. Sure, having a career is great. Chase your dreams, smash that glass ceiling, but don't forget the human connection. Men are looking for partners who can offer more than just their resumes, someone who's genuine, compassionate, and capable of building a meaningful relationship. If you're finding yourself perpetually single and wondering why all the good ones are taken, maybe it's time to look in the mirror and reassess the attitudes and values you're projecting. Ultimately, every person deserves companionship and love, but it's a two-way street that requires understanding, respect, and mutual appreciation for each other's roles. The choice is simple. Continue down the path of isolated careerism, or embrace the possibility of a balanced life filled with both professional success and personal fulfillment. And that's it for today on Sigma Traits. Make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that notification bell. Support this channel through membership. You can also support through PayPal link in the description. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.